militarily integrated with the Chinese Beidou satellite system. And that is what helps Pakistan in their defense logistics, situation awareness, battlefield transparency, and navigation and guidance of their drones and their missiles. Let me explain this a little more. Now, when we talk about the space capabilities of China, we are talking about a teaming of two different type of satellites. One is what is called the Beidou 3 satellite constellation, which is nearly 50 satellites. And because it is Beidou 3, that means it works in 3 orbits. It is there in the geosynchronous orbit, it is there in the middle Earth orbit. And the third orbit, which the GPS doesn't have, is what is called the inclined geosynchronous orbit. So whereas the geosynchronous orbit that provides the global ISR and the navigation, the inclined geostrategic in the satellites here in this orbit, they provide the regional anchor. Now this is a very big thing. And they team up with another set of satellites which is called the Yagoon augmentation satellites. They are in the low Earth orbit. When we talk of low Earth orbit, we are talking about altitudes from 600 kilometers to 1200 kilometers. I'll give you two examples of the Yagoon satellite, different satellites. One is the SAR, which is synthetic aperture radar with the capability of persistent stare. That means these are the eyes in the skies which can look through bad weather, look through clouds, and they are there at an altitude of 1100 to 1200 kilometers. And the second is what is called ELINT satellite. Electronic intelligence, they operate at an altitude of 600 to 800 kilometers and they do the electronic mapping. Please remember and recall that on May 8th, when the Pakistan Air Force gave a briefing to the international media, that was done by AVM Aurangzeb Ahmed, he had there a digital map where he showed the electronic identification got through the ELINT satellite of all the Indian aircraft and the assets which were there in the battlefield. So when you look at this sort of capability, battlefield capability of, space capability, to which Pakistan has access. If I may just digress to make another point, I said Pakistan is the first country to get access. Iran is perhaps the second. Because Iran on the 1st January 2026, when it joined the Belt and Road Initiative of China, it also then shifted from GPS to the Beidou 3 constellation of China, space capabilities, the military capabilities, resolutions. Which is why there are reports in the American press and the American leaders, the military leaders, they are saying that the accuracy of the Iranian missiles for long-range drones for their missiles is far better than what it was in the 12-day war that happened in 2025. Now, coming back to what I was talking, an additional thing that has happened is that the war now will be non-linear. In other words, it's all about depth targeting, not the contact line. Now, when you look at depth targeting, a non-linear war, and you look at this humongous space capabilities, what are we talking about? We are now talking about the Indian Army having great difficulty in hiding their big assets, weapons, BrahMos, S-400, even their battalions, their higher headquarters. It will be very difficult because the Pakistanis will know where exactly what is. So the requirement will be of troops dispersal. There will be a need for deployment and redeployment constantly. All these concepts of concentration for main effort, they will no longer be relevant. So this is about space capabilities. So the point I'm making is all this notion that, of victory that he has spoken about, Anil Chauhan, it does not make sense at all. Now, let me touch upon the nuclear aspect. Very important. Please remember that after Operation Sindoor, when the briefing was given by Air Marshal A.K. Bharti, he said very clearly that we did not target the nuclear facilities of Pakistan, which everybody knows are somewhere in the Kirana Hills. Kirana Hills is about 10 kilometers north of Sargodha, and underground facilities are there. I mean, this is hardly a secret. Now, Anil Chauhan, his comment on this was entirely different from what Bharti had said. He said that look, we had used a lot of loitering munition for finding out the radars in the Sargodha area. So a loitering munition, he said, hours one, they had about 2 hours of endurance. When they failed perhaps to locate the radars, their actual targets, they went astray and they could have gone anywhere and perhaps hit somewhere on the Kirana Hills as well. And then Chauhan himself said, and he drew attention to the media reports of Pakistan where there were images of the smoke coming out from that area, the area of Kirana Hills. And this is the reason why President Trump repeatedly said that I averted a nuclear war between India and Pakistan, because this is what Field Marshal Asim Munir would have told President Trump, especially when he met up with him for dinner in the White House in June 2025. So the point I am making is that the situation has become very delicate and critical with the new normal that has been created. Now here, what Anil Chauhan said was that, look, we have a no first use policy. India has that policy, and therefore we have much room for conventional operations. Pakistan does not have a no first use policy. It has a full spectrum deterrence. And why it has that is because when India announced its cold start strategy, which in any case was a non-starter, immediately the reaction came from the Pakistan side, and they said that now we will have tactical nuclear weapons. And along with the tactical nuclear weapons, they announced their new strategy, which is full spectrum deterrence. That means they have deterrence at all the level, including tactical. It's another matter that in the case of Pakistan, the tactical nuclear weapons also would be treated as strategic weapons and held at the strategic level. They will not be given to the field commanders. But the point that I'm trying to make is, and which is very important, that Pakistan, when you look at its geography, which is absolutely elongated, with so many assets close to the border with India. So, first of all, there is every reason after the structural reorganizations that the Pakistan military has done after Operation Sindoor, that they would perhaps start another operation, God forbid, if they do. They have all the reasons. I won't go in those details. And the other thing that I want to tell you is that the threshold of nuclear exchange, it has become sufficiently lower. And this is the reason that instead of the National Command Authority, which was headed by the Prime Minister of Pakistan, which has been sidelined, a new structure has been created, which is called the National Strategic Command, whose commander has been appointed, and he reports directly to Field Marshal Asim Munir. In other words, Asim Munir controls the conventional war, and he controls the nuclear capabilities as well. So the situation has become very critical, and perhaps there is a need now for the Indian side to start the talks with Pakistan on the nuclear issue, because nobody wants a nuclear war in the region. Now I'll come to what I was saying, why India actually started, in my assessment, this Operation Sindoor. You see, as